Top 12 Cancer-Causing Foods. Hello everyone, in today's eye-opening episode, we'll be diving deep into our diets, unearthing the dark truth hiding in plain sight. We all cherish the joy of a good meal, but have you ever wondered if some of the foods we consume daily might be leading us down a dangerous path? Well, today we are not talking about weight gain or cholesterol, we are peeling back the layers on something even more serious: cancer. Yes, you heard that right. Join us as we reveal the top 12 cancer-causing foods lurking in our kitchens. Trust me, some of these will definitely surprise you. So, are you ready to put your health first? Let's get started. 1. Processed meats. Are any types of meat that have been modified to extend shelf life or alter taste, which includes meats that are smoked, cured, or salted, and meats preserved through the use of chemical preservatives. Some everyday examples are ham, bacon, sausages, hot dogs, and salami. The connection between processed meats and cancer lies in the methods used to preserve them. The smoking process leads to the formation of harmful carcinogenic compounds like polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. Curing involves adding salts, nitrates, or nitrites, which, during cooking, can form nitrosamines, a potent class of carcinogens. A landmark report from the World Health Organization in 2015 classified processed meat as a Group 1 carcinogen, implying that there's strong evidence that processed meats can cause cancer in humans. The studies specifically pointed towards a type of cancer known as colorectal cancer, although associations were also seen for pancreatic cancer and prostate cancer. Apart from cancer, consuming processed meats can lead to a myriad of other health issues. High levels of sodium used in these foods can lead to hypertension, which is a risk factor for heart disease and stroke. Processed meats are also usually high in fats, particularly saturated and trans fats, leading to high cholesterol levels, further escalating the risk of heart disease. Moreover, the high caloric content of these foods can contribute to obesity, a significant risk factor for numerous health conditions, including heart disease, diabetes, and several forms of cancer. The presence of heme iron in these meats, especially red meats, is linked to heart disease and metabolic syndrome. Eating processed meat is also linked with harmful effects on gut health. Certain studies suggest it alters the balance of bacteria in your gut, potentially contributing to diseases like inflammatory bowel disease and colon cancer. So, while a piece of bacon or a hot dog might be tempting, it's worth considering the potential health implications. Making healthier choices now could significantly improve your health in the long run. 2. Sugary drinks. Often sweetened with high fructose corn syrup or other sweeteners, have been linked to an increased risk of certain types of cancer. This includes soft drinks, fruit drinks, energy drinks, and even some types of tea and coffee that contain added sugars. The main concern with sugary drinks is their high sugar content, which contributes to several biological processes that could lead to cancer. Firstly, consuming a lot of sugar can lead to obesity, which is a significant risk factor for various types of cancer, including breast, colon, endometrial, kidney, esophageal, and pancreatic cancer. Moreover, high sugar intake can lead to increased insulin production, promoting the growth of cancer cells. Some research suggests that fructose, a type of sugar often found in sugary drinks, may promote cancer growth more than other types of sugar. Fructose increases the levels of certain hormones, such as insulin and insulin-like growth factor, which can stimulate cell proliferation and inhibit cell death, both of which can contribute to cancer growth. Aside from the risk of cancer, the high sugar content in these drinks can lead to a host of other health problems. They contribute to weight gain and obesity due to their high calorie content and lack of satiety. Over time, this can lead to type 2 diabetes. Regular consumption of sugary drinks also increases the risk of heart disease. The fructose in these drinks can raise your triglyceride levels and small, dense LDL cholesterol, leading to clogged arteries and heart attacks. Additionally, sugary drinks can harm your dental health. The sugar in these beverages provides food for harmful bacteria in your mouth, leading to tooth decay and cavities. Furthermore, these drinks can harm your liver. Consuming large amounts of sugar in liquid form causes your liver to become overloaded with fructose, and if it can't metabolize it fast enough, it starts turning it into fat, leading to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So, while a sweet drink might quench your thirst, the long-term implications of regularly consuming sugary drinks are far from sweet. Choosing healthier options like water, unsweetened tea or coffee, or infused water with fruits and herbs could do wonders for your overall health. 3. Salted fish, Chinese style. Chinese-style salted fish is a traditional Asian food product that is preserved using salt. The process of preservation often involves fermentation, which can lead to the formation of various potentially carcinogenic compounds. It's enjoyed for its unique flavor and texture but has been linked with several health concerns. Most notably, the World Health Organization's International Agency for Research on Cancer points to a strong link between consumption of this type of salted fish and nasopharyngeal carcinoma, a rare type of head and neck cancer. During the preservation and fermentation process, nitrosamines, potent carcinogens, are produced. They can lead to DNA mutations, disrupting normal cell function, and triggering uncontrolled cell growth, potentially leading to the development of cancer. Another carcinogenic compound, known as polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, also be present in these types of foods, contributing to the risk. Consuming too much salt can lead to high blood pressure, a major risk factor for heart disease and stroke. Over time, high blood pressure can damage your heart and blood vessels, leading to serious cardiovascular problems. Additionally, high salt intake can lead to fluid retention, causing swelling in your hands, arms, feet, ankles, or legs. This condition, called edema, can be uncomfortable and potentially harmful if left unchecked. Excessive sodium intake is also linked with stomach ulcers and stomach cancer, as it may negatively affect the stomach lining, increasing the risk of H. pylori infection, a significant risk factor for these conditions. So while Chinese-style salted fish may be a flavorful addition to a meal, it's essential to consider its potential health risks. Moderation is crucial, and finding less harmful alternatives or methods of preparation can help maintain a healthier dietary pattern. 4. Alcohol. Alcohol is consumed worldwide, often associated with socialization and relaxation. However, its health effects can be quite severe, and one of the most notable among these is its link with cancer. According to research, alcohol consumption is a significant risk factor for many types of cancer, including mouth, esophagus, throat, liver, colon, and breast cancer. When alcohol is consumed, it is broken down into a chemical called acetaldehyde, a potent carcinogen. Acetaldehyde can damage DNA and proteins, leading to mutations that can trigger uncontrolled cell growth and cancer. Moreover, alcohol itself can also damage cells, leading to inflammation and an increased risk of cancer. Alcohol also affects hormone levels. For instance, it can lead to higher levels of estrogen, a hormone linked to breast cancer. Additionally, alcohol can impair the body's ability to absorb and use various nutrients, including folate, which plays a role in maintaining DNA health. This impairment can potentially contribute to cancer development. The relationship between alcohol and cancer is dose-dependent, meaning the risk increases with the amount consumed. However, even moderate drinking can increase cancer risk. Aside from cancer, alcohol has numerous other harmful effects on health. Excessive alcohol consumption can lead to liver diseases like cirrhosis, alcoholic hepatitis, and fatty liver disease. It also increases the risk of cardiovascular diseases, including heart disease, high blood pressure, and stroke. Alcohol can also have detrimental effects on mental health. It can lead to dependence, depression, anxiety, and other mental health disorders. Given these risks, it's essential to consume alcohol in moderation, if at all. It's also crucial to seek help if you're struggling with alcohol misuse, as there are numerous resources available to assist with recovery. 5. Microwave popcorn. A popular and convenient snack, has some components linked to potential health concerns, most notably, a connection to an increased risk of certain types of cancer. This largely has to do with substances used in the packaging and certain ingredients in the popcorn itself. Microwave popcorn bags are often lined with a substance called perfluorooctanoic acid, PFOA. When the bag is microwaved, PFOA can leach into the popcorn. PFOA is part of a broader group of chemicals known as per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances, PFAS, which have been associated with various health issues, including certain types of cancer such as kidney and testicular cancer. The International Agency for Research on Cancer, IARC, classifies PFOA as possibly carcinogenic to humans. Another concern is the presence of a compound called diacetyl in the artificial butter flavoring. Diacetyl, when inhaled over a prolonged period, has been linked to a lung condition known as bronchiolitis obliterans, colloquially referred to as popcorn lung. While the most notable cases of this disease were in workers in popcorn factories, some have raised concerns about the risk to consumers inhaling the fumes from freshly popped microwave popcorn bags. In addition to these cancer-related concerns, microwave popcorn often contains large amounts of added fats, often in the form of unhealthy trans fats, and high levels of sodium. Trans fats can raise your bad, LDL, cholesterol levels and lower your good, HDL, cholesterol levels, leading to an increased risk of heart disease. Meanwhile, high sodium intake can lead to elevated blood pressure, a key risk factor for heart disease and stroke. It's also worth noting that some brands of microwave popcorn use palm oil as their main fat, the production of which has significant environmental impacts, contributing to deforestation and loss of biodiversity. Given these potential health risks, if you're a popcorn lover, consider making your popcorn at home using a stove or an air popper. You can flavor it with a bit of olive oil or a sprinkle of your favorite spices to keep it healthy and delicious. 6. Hydrogenated oils. Often found in many processed foods, are created by adding hydrogen to vegetable oils, transforming the liquid oil into a solid or semi-solid form at room temperature. This process increases the shelf life and flavor stability of oils, making them appealing for use in products like margarine, baked goods, and snack foods. However, these oils can have several adverse health effects, including an increased risk of cancer and other diseases. The primary concern with hydrogenated oils lies in the trans fats they contain. Trans fats have been linked with an increased risk of several types of cancer, including breast cancer and colon cancer. The exact mechanisms are still being researched, but it is suggested that trans fats can promote inflammation and the production of free radicals, unstable molecules that can cause DNA damage and contribute to cancer development. Trans fats also interfere with the functions of membrane proteins, disrupt cell signaling processes, and can modify the production of certain enzymes related to cancer development and progression. Aside from cancer, trans fats are associated with an increased risk of heart disease, as they raise levels of LDL, low-density lipoprotein, or bad cholesterol while reducing levels of HDL, high-density lipoprotein, or good cholesterol. This combination can lead to the buildup of plaque in the arteries, increasing the risk of heart attack and stroke. Trans fats can also contribute to the development of type 2 diabetes. Some research suggests that they can impair the function of insulin, the hormone responsible for regulating blood sugar, thereby increasing the risk of insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. Additionally, because they can lead to inflammation, trans fats play a role in the development of other chronic conditions like arthritis and autoimmune diseases. In recognition of these health risks, many countries have taken steps to reduce or ban the use of hydrogenated oils and trans fats in food production. However, it's still important for consumers to read food labels and make informed choices, particularly when it comes to processed foods. Opting for foods with unsaturated fats or consuming fats from whole food sources like nuts, seeds, and avocados can be healthier alternatives. 7. Refined sugars. Often found in various forms such as white sugar, brown sugar, and high fructose corn syrup, is a staple ingredient in many processed foods and beverages. While it undoubtedly enhances flavor, its impacts on health are far from sweet. Notably, refined sugar has been linked to an increased risk of various types of cancer. The primary way in which sugar could potentially influence cancer development is through its role in obesity. High intake of sugary foods contributes to weight gain and fat accumulation, which is a well-established risk factor for numerous types of cancer, including breast, colorectal, esophageal, pancreatic, endometrial, kidney, and gallbladder cancer. Moreover, diets high in sugar can lead to elevated levels of insulin, a hormone that regulates glucose in your blood. Chronic high insulin levels, a condition known as hyperinsulinemia, has been linked with an increased risk of certain cancers, including breast and colorectal cancers. Insulin can promote cell growth, and some cancers use the body's insulin to grow and proliferate. Aside from its potential role in cancer, refined sugar is a major contributor to obesity, as sugary foods and beverages are often high in calories but low in nutritional value. Consumption of refined sugars is strongly associated with the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. High sugar intake overloads your body's capacity to metabolize sugar, leading to higher blood sugar and insulin levels. Given these potential health risks, it's recommended to limit the intake of foods and beverages high in added sugars and opt for a balanced diet rich in whole foods like fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains. 8. Smoked and pickled foods are popular worldwide for their unique flavors and their long shelf life. However, certain methods of preservation used in these foods have been associated with an increased risk of cancer and other health issues. Starting with smoked foods, these are often preserved through a process that involves exposing the food, usually meat or fish, to smoke from burning or smoldering plant materials, often wood. This process can lead to the food absorbing various harmful compounds, including polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs, a class of chemicals that have been associated with cancer development. PAHs can damage the DNA in our cells, potentially leading to mutations and cancer development. Smoking foods can also lead to the formation of N-nitroso compounds, which are known carcinogens. Types of cancer linked with consumption of smoked foods include stomach, colorectal, and pancreatic cancer. Pickled foods, on the other hand, are preserved using an acidic solution, usually vinegar, and often contain high amounts of salt. The issue with pickled foods lies mainly in their salt content. High salt diets have been linked to stomach cancer, as salt can damage the lining of the stomach, making it more susceptible to carcinogenic infection, especially from the bacterium Helicobacter pylori. Some pickling processes also involve the use of nitrates and nitrites, which can form nitrosamines, a class of known carcinogens, in the body. Furthermore, the nitrates and nitrites used in some pickling processes can react with hemoglobin in our red blood cells, forming methemoglobin, which can't carry oxygen efficiently, leading to methemoglobinemia, a condition characterized by shortness of breath and bluish skin and lips. Given these potential health risks, it's recommended to consume smoked and pickled foods in moderation and balance your diet with plenty of fresh, whole foods. If you're preserving foods at home, consider using methods like freezing or canning without adding excess salt or sugar. 9. Farmed salmon. Also known as aquacultured salmon, is one of the most common types of fish consumed worldwide due to its affordability and availability throughout the year. However, there have been concerns raised about the potential health impacts of farmed salmon compared to its wild-caught counterpart. One significant concern is the presence of contaminants in farmed salmon. Due to the conditions in which they are raised, farmed salmon can accumulate higher levels of harmful compounds like polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs, dioxins, and pesticides. PCBs and dioxins are environmental contaminants that have been classified as likely carcinogens by the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and known human carcinogens by the International Agency for Research on Cancer, IARC. These chemicals can accumulate in the fatty tissues of fish and are believed to increase the risk of certain types of cancer, including breast cancer, when consumed in high amounts over time. Farmed salmon are often fed with fish meal and fish oil, which can be a concentrated source of these contaminants. While regulations and improved practices have decreased these contaminant levels in farmed salmon over time, they can still be higher compared to wild salmon. Besides, farmed salmon are often given antibiotics to combat diseases due to the crowded conditions in which they are raised. While this is meant to protect the fish, there are concerns that this can contribute to the global issue of antibiotic resistance. It's also worth noting that farmed salmon often have higher levels of saturated fat compared to wild salmon. While salmon fat contains beneficial omega-3 fatty acids, too much saturated fat in your diet can increase your blood cholesterol levels, leading to an increased risk of heart disease. Despite these potential concerns, it's essential to remember that eating fish, including salmon, is part of a healthy diet. Salmon is a good source of high-quality protein, vitamins, minerals, and omega-3 fatty acids, which have been shown to provide numerous health benefits. When possible, opt for wild-caught salmon or farmed salmon from sources known for sustainable and responsible practices. For those who consume farmed salmon, a good rule of thumb is to remove the skin and surface fat before cooking, as this can reduce the amount of any contaminants. And, as with any food, it's all about balance. Diversifying your sources of protein can help mitigate potential risks associated with any one type of food. 10. White flour. White flour, found in a range of everyday foods, from bread and pasta to cakes and pastries, is a staple ingredient in many diets. However, this highly refined product has been linked to a variety of health concerns, including an increased risk of certain types of cancer and other diseases. The process of refining wheat into white flour involves the removal of the grain's bran and germ, leaving behind the endosperm. This process strips away a significant portion of the grain's fiber, vitamins, minerals, and other beneficial phytochemicals. The resulting product, white flour, is a high glycemic index, GI, food, which means it can cause a rapid rise in blood sugar levels when consumed. Frequent spikes in blood sugar and insulin can lead to a state of insulin resistance over time, a condition that's linked to an increased risk of several types of cancer, including breast, colorectal, and pancreatic cancer. Insulin, besides its role in blood sugar regulation, is a growth factor that, in excessive amounts, can stimulate cell proliferation and inhibit the natural process of cell death, both of which can contribute to cancer development. White flour's lack of fiber is another factor to consider. Dietary fiber is known to aid in digestive health and can reduce the risk of colorectal cancer. It adds bulk to the diet and assists in the timely elimination of waste, reducing the time that potential carcinogens stay in contact with the bowel's lining. High consumption of white flour can also increase the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. The chronic spikes in blood sugar and insulin levels associated with high GI foods can over time lead to insulin resistance, a precursor for type 2 diabetes. Given these potential health risks, it's recommended to replace white flour with whole grains whenever possible. Whole grains have a lower GI, and they're rich in fiber and numerous beneficial compounds. Consuming a variety of whole grains, like whole wheat, oats, brown rice, and quinoa, can contribute to a balanced, nutrient-dense diet and may reduce the risk of various chronic diseases. 11. Diet foods and drinks. Designed to be lower in calories and sugars, are often marketed as healthier options. However, these products often replace sugars with artificial sweeteners or use other additives that have potential health risks. One of the primary concerns with diet foods and drinks lies in the use of artificial sweeteners. These include substances like aspartame, saccharin, sucralose, and acesulfame potassium. While these have been approved for use by food safety authorities, there has been ongoing debate about their potential long-term effects on health, including cancer risk. Animal studies have suggested a possible link between artificial sweeteners and cancer. Some studies have reported an increased risk of certain types of cancers, like bladder cancer and blood cancers, in animals exposed to very high doses of artificial sweeteners. While the current consensus among health organizations is that artificial sweeteners are safe for most people when used in moderation, some individuals choose to avoid or limit them due to these ongoing debates and potential concerns. Moreover, diet foods and drinks can have other negative effects on health. Despite being marketed for weight control, these products may not be as effective as we might hope. Some research suggests that consuming diet drinks might even lead to weight gain, as they can stimulate sugar cravings and lead to increased calorie consumption from other sources. Also, artificial sweeteners can negatively affect gut health by altering the gut microbiota, which plays a vital role in various aspects of health. There is also concern about the presence of other additives in diet foods, such as preservatives, colorings, and flavorings, some of which have been associated with health risks. As with all things, moderation is key. It's okay to enjoy diet foods and drinks occasionally, but they shouldn't replace healthier foods in your diet. Always aim to maintain a balanced, varied diet, and remember that diet products are not a shortcut to a healthy lifestyle. 12. Canned foods. Provide a convenient and long-lasting option for storage, making them a staple in many households. However, there have been health concerns associated with canned goods, particularly relating to the materials used in their packaging. One of the primary concerns with canned foods is the presence of a chemical called bisphenol A, more commonly known as BPA. BPA is used in the production of resins and plastics, including the lining of some food and beverage cans to prevent corrosion and leaks. Numerous studies have linked BPA exposure to a range of health problems due to its potential to mimic the body's hormones, particularly estrogen. Some research has suggested a link between BPA exposure and an increased risk of certain cancers, such as breast cancer and prostate cancer. Aside from cancer, BPA exposure has been linked to reproductive disorders, including fertility problems and developmental issues in children. Other research has suggested possible links to heart disease, obesity, and diabetes. Moreover, canned foods can often be high in sodium, as salt is frequently used as a preservative. High sodium intake has been associated with elevated blood pressure and an increased risk of heart disease and stroke. It's important to note that many manufacturers have started to reduce the use of BPA in food packaging, and BPA-free products are becoming more common. However, some replacement chemicals for BPA, such as bisphenol S, BPS, and bisphenol F, BPF, have similar structures and may pose similar concerns. Despite these potential risks, canned foods can still be part of a healthy diet. They offer a convenient way to access the variety of foods year-round, particularly fruits, vegetables, and legumes. To mitigate these risks, consider choosing fresh or frozen options when possible, look for low-sodium or no-salt-added canned goods, and opt for cans labeled BPA-free. As with all aspects of your diet, variety and moderation are key. Well, folks, there we have it, the countdown of the top 12 foods associated with an increased risk of cancer. These everyday items, lurking in our kitchens and dinner tables, might just be a bit more sinister than we initially thought. But remember, knowledge is power. It's not about fearing our food but understanding it, so we can make healthier, more informed choices. Striking the right balance and variety in our diet can create a world of difference, not just for our waistlines but for our long-term health and well-being. Let's opt for fresh fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains when we can. And remember to consume processed foods, sugary drinks, and alcohol in moderation. It's all about balance and choice. Our health is in our hands, after all. Before we wrap up, I want to remind everyone that this video is not a substitute for professional medical advice. If you have any health concerns, please consult with a healthcare provider. And on that note, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the top 12 cancer-causing foods. If you found this information helpful, make sure to hit that like button and share the video with your friends and family. The more we know, the healthier choices we can make. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss out on more content like this. Thank you for joining me on this journey of discovery. Remember, we are what we eat, so let's choose wisely. As always, this is about igniting the conversation and encouraging more awareness. So, please, drop your thoughts, experiences, or any questions you might have in the comments below. I love hearing from you,